And so I often challenge couples, if I can grow your leadership, I can grow your ability to be an extraordinary parent. But your leadership is going to have to increase. No question about that. If you're not willing to grow as an individual, you cannot grow your relationship, hands down. We tell people all the time, Cherie, most people don't want help. What do they want,
Right,
babe?
they want relief.
Say it again.
Most people don't want help, they want relief. And so in relationships, in order for your relationship to grow, you have to truly want help and be willing to do that help. But to get back to onto the leadership piece and onto serving, when you think about serving your mate, we're not talking about just the physical aspect of you serving, you fulfilling your wifely or your manly duties. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in your day-to-day, as you go through life together, how are you serving each other? And because most of you guys on this call, everybody in here is an entrepreneur or you're pursuing entrepreneurial exploits, we're going to deal with it from that perspective. So in our situation, before Glenn became an entrepreneur, when he was working in ministry full time, when he decided to leave his six-figure job to go into ministry full time, we had a conversation. And we had to both be in agreement that this is what he was going to pursue because it was going to affect us as a family. In us doing that, once I agreed to that, all that came with that, I had already agreed to it. Now, I didn't know everything that was going to come with it.
She didn't think it would actually come to pass.
I didn't know that we was going to really wind up eating oodles and noodles and hot dogs. I
Come
didn't
on
know
now.
that. Now, remember, I said he went from a six-figure income.
Guys, let me just paint the picture and give y'all a quick backdrop. So we got married in 1999. Cherie and I got married January 1999. By August, we had built our first home. And it was the first home that she and I had ever owned together. We both come from renting, that whole situation. So it was our first home individually, and as a married couple, we went on 2 honeymoons that were gifted to us then. What else? We, I was, making, I got the home, guys, for those of you all who have had to buy a home. I was able to finance that home on my salary alone.
And I was able to be a stay-at-home wife.
And she was able to be y'all saw how
he tricked me. That was
y'all
the
saw how
okey-doke,
y'all
y'all.
saw
That was
how
the
she did
okey-doke,
that little witch calm thing. I don't even know what you call that, but she literally was like, "I'm good with this. Like this is is this how this go?" And so literally about 9 months into that situation,
right,
maybe 8 months, I said, "You know what, babe? I honestly feel strongly that I'm supposed to leave this industry that I'm working in. That's paying for all this stuff we got." And I'm supposed to go into full-time ministry, and it's going to probably be about a 70% pay cut. And I want to know if you cool with that.
Now, notice he said a 70%.
That means
70%. So we're going from over $100,000 a year to a 70% decrease in income. But I agreed to this because I believe this was what he was supposed to do. I agreed that this was where we were supposed to be going as a family.
Yeah.
So as we went on that journey and things started getting tight, how did I serve him in that? Now, he's pursuing his passion. He's pursuing his dream, what he believes he's supposed to be doing. I realize as he's going through this journey, I'm seeing that he has some places that he's not that strong in. He has some areas of weakness. Now, this is where, I want to caution you when I say this. Just because your spouse has a dream or they have a vision doesn't necessarily mean that you're supposed to be a part of that 100%.
Ooh.
But
you
as their partner in marriage, whatever they do, you are a part of it in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't... Go ahead. Okay. Okay, no problem. I said just because your partner has a passion, a vision, a mission that they're pursuing, it does not mean that you have to be 100% a part of that vision or that mission. But as their partner in marriage, you do play a part in that because you guys are partners. You are partners first as a married couple before any business, before any venture, before anything else. So if they choose and decide that they have this vision and this mission that they want to pursue and you agree with it, and you guys go down that path and they're pursuing their dream, you do still have a part to play in that. And this is where you have to learn how to serve them. That serving them doesn't mean that you have to leave your job and you're working alongside them 100%. That serving them doesn't mean you have to even travel with them per se. But what that serving does mean is that because you're the closest person to your spouse, you see the kinks in his armor or her armor. You see their weaknesses. Your job as their spouse is to serve them, is to show them those areas of weaknesses, and if you can, for you to jump in and help. Now, that may be you helping them outsource that area to somebody else. You're bringing it to their attention. Or if you have the ability to do it, you're jumping in and doing that. Take that level of stress off of them in an area that you see that they're weak so that they can achieve their dream.
Absolutely. I know Coach always says this, and I think it's 1,000% true, that the vision is your vision, but it shouldn't drag your family through the crazy of pulling that off. They should not have to sacrifice because it's your vision. You should do that kind of sacrifice. And I think all too often in marriage, what happens is, guys, we get this idea of sacrifice kind of twisted, right? The truth of the matter is that most of you guys are opposite. I don't care what your temperaments are, flamingo, gorilla, chameleon, turtle, you name it. You many times you bring differences to the table. It wasn't until Cherie and I discovered, and I'm gonna say it that way, it wasn't until we discovered that our differences was our strength that we started really winning. Guys, let me help y'all out. When you can get to the place where you're self-aware enough of your differences to stand flat-footed and own them and not try to go down the road that you need to be just like me, it changes the entire complexion of the game. And the reason why is because there's no expectation for you to deliver on what it is that I do. I have a strength zone. I only do 2 or 3 things extraordinarily well. Right? And what I do well, when you see me show up in that genius, you gonna think, yo, that's the OG. But I promise you, there's some areas that if you see me function in those areas, that is not my area, and that's what will make me look quite human. Well, Cherie is the exact same way, and what I've learned to do, because here's a news flash, Cherie and my ex-wife are the same person, temperamentally, and as far as their makeup is concerned. So in you guys' language and our language here in the G, we would say Cherie would be a chameleon. Well, my ex-wife is a chameleon, almost 100%. The problem is that in 12 years of marriage, why couldn't I make it work between me, a flamingo, and a chameleon? And the reason why is because A, I didn't know what she was. 2, when I did find it out, I didn't have any respect for it because you should be like me. And 3, I wasn't trying to embrace it. I was trying to persuade it. Y'all need to write that down. Some of you guys are trapped because you're trying to persuade when you should be embracing. I thank God that she is not like me. We are not homeless because of that. Does that make sense, guys? We are able to tunnel through things and get through things and get to the other side quite successfully because I function in my lane and I empower her because I stay out of hers to function in her lane. Let me just say it this way, guys. Really carefully. Think about a highway and you're going down the highway. What happens when you change lanes without putting on your blinker? Somebody tell me in the chat or open the mic. What happens? You change lanes, but you didn't put on a blinker. What happens? Anybody, talk to me. Anybody. What happens? You change lanes, but you didn't put on a blinker. What happens? Confusion? Somebody else. Say that again. Who said that? YB, you get into an accident. Let me ask you a question, guys. Was the accident on purpose? Did you set out that day to get in an accident? Yes or no? Thumbs up if you mean yes, thumbs down if it's no. Thumbs up. Nobody sets out to say, you know what, I am going to get in an accident today. I'm just going to F with these people and I'm moving over and I'm getting in a lane and it just don't even matter. No one does that. It happens on accident. And the reason why is because you're not self-aware that she needed to see a blinker. And that blinker we teach people often is where your skill set is either good or bad. Some people have terrible driving skills. And so as a result of that, they find themselves in accidents regularly. And the exact same thing happens in marriage.
Right. So in marriage, what it means to day serve your mate is for you to fill in those gaps for each other. For you to step in where you see that your spouse is weak in an area or that they're missing something. You step in to help. Now, we're going to take it outside of business and just talk about in everyday life. So if I work a 10-hour day and I come home and it's 6 o'clock at evening and Glenn is home, if he has the time and the space to, he's not going to wait for me to get home to cook dinner because he knows I've had a long day. He's going to step in and he's going to help. He's going to do whatever he can to help serve, to help me. And so serving is something that is ongoing. It's just being able to, it's truly being a helpmate to each other. And this goes both ways. It's not just the wife being a helpmate, it's the husband also being a helpmate. But what happens oftentimes in marriages is we get so caught up in just going through life that we actually take each other for granted and we forget to serve each other.
Absolutely. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
We get in the habit of, you know, you have your roles, I have my roles. I'm going to do what I do, you do what you do. And you forget and you don't pay attention to when that blinker is going off with your spouse. They got their blinker on. They got their hazard lights on because they need some help. They're getting stressed out. They're getting overwhelmed. They need a break. But you're so focused on what you're doing that you don't see the hazard light. Mm-hmm. And so you just keep on going. And so when they run off the road, then you like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, I thought we was going through life. Everything was good. But you didn't step in because you weren't focused on your spouse long enough to truly be their helpmate and to be able to serve them because you're so busy serving your clients or serving your employees or serving your kids or serving your family or serving whoever else, but you're not serving your spouse. Because what happens in marriage is we often take each other for granted.
Yep. And so one of the things, and I'm going to open this up for Q&A because I want to know what are the areas of your blind spots, and we're going to talk clear. We're going to talk free. Because my hope is that you're on here for some help and not just a woo-woo. That was some good gems and you're going to take this and repurpose it. Y'all can have any gem you find. My job is to share with you as many gems as I can possibly share. But at the end of the day, I want you to take that gem and invest it in you and stop thinking that this is something I'm going to invest in them. That's the wrong purpose. I'm not here for that. I am sharing with you guys because if y'all don't get better, y'all's unit breaks down. And here's what I will absolutely promise you. It is no fun being a public success and a private failure because you can't sustain that. I'm going to say it again. It is no fun being a public success and a private failure because that is not sustainable. And the truth of the matter is that if many of you guys are in here, I want you to think of your relationships as a business. The business is designed to go on.